Alright, welcome. In this tutorial, we're going to create some flowers using a custom block. So when we create these custom blocks and we have attach our code to it, it's essentially called a subprogram. So that when we want to run our custom block, we don't have to repeat the whole script each time. It will use the subprogram to code what it is that we want to do. So we're going to start by deleting this cat. And we're going to go into and add a new script from the library here and start off with the ball. We're going to click the eye here for the information. And we can rename this if we want. This is going to be the petal on our flower. If you go into costumes, you'll see there's various colors. So I'm actually just going to choose pink because I happen to like the color pink. Alright, so let's go into our script and start off what we need. So in the events control, we're going to start off with when clicked. In the control tab, we're going to use a repeating block. So I'm going to repeat 5 times. The first thing I'm going to do, and this repeat is essentially how many petals that we're going to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the motion, and I'm going to start by moving 25 steps. And then I'm going to use the stamp. So what's going to happen is my ball is going to move in the current direction a little bit and then stamp a clone of itself. And then I want it to go back to where it started from. So I'm going to go back and move -25 to end up in my original position. And then I'm going to rotate. So I'm going to turn. When we do a full circle, there's 360 degrees. Because I want 5 petals, I'm going to put an operator in here. So I'm going to rotate the 360 degrees divided by 5, my 5 petals, so that when I draws out my flowers, they're all equally spaced. Okay, I'm then going to use my pen and create and stamp again. So every time it turns and rotates, it will stamp a copy of itself. So essentially that's what happens. It's moved to the right, stamped, gone back to where it started, rotated, stamped, gone back. So it's repeating that process 5 times. Now we're going to create a new block. So this is where we're going to do one of our custom blocks. So go ahead and hit make a new block, and we're going to type in draw flower. Okay, we can click OK. And now we'll see that we have that there. And we've also got it down here as well. But what I'm going to do is, rather than when clicking my flag, I'm going to use all of this script and place it as a subprogram underneath my custom block. So I don't need this one anymore, so just drag it off to the side so it's gone. Now the other thing I need to do is, actually I'm not going to get rid of that one just yet. I'm going to keep that one click because I'm going to have a separate set of information so that whenever I click on my stage here, it will draw a flower for me. So I'm going to go into the control and I'm going to use a forever loop. And then I'm going to use an if-then statement as well. So I want it to sense my mouse. So if my mouse is down, it's going to have a motion of going to my mouse pointer. So I want it to go to my mouse pointer, and then it will draw that flower. So when I click the flag, as I move my arrow around the stage, it will follow that, and if I click, it will actually draw my flower. So as I click around the stage, you can see that happening. Now, the flowers are going to start to fill up my stage. So what I want to do is have a way to clear these off to start fresh. So in my Events tab, I'm also going to choose that when the space key is pressed, under Pen, I'm going to clear the stage. So now I can start fresh. So anytime I want to clear the stage, I can hit the space bar. All right, so this is essentially, like I said, all this under my custom block. This is my subprogram. Now it gets my flowers a little boring because it's always the same color, so we're going to add some variation to our flower. So we don't want identical flowers every single time. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an input into this control. So up here in this one, you're going to click on it, and we're going to edit. And then open up this options button. We're going to add a number input. So now you can see that it's opened up a space off to the side here. And in here we're going to type in number of petals. Now, rather than repeating with 5 petals every time, what I can do is I can drag this into, let's just stop that for a second, drag that into the repeating. And I can also, I'd have to do the same thing down here. So now, let's clear this off. I've got a different, okay, maybe not. I've got 2 petals happening. So what do I need here? Oh, okay. So what I need here is to change this number in here. So I'm going to change that to the number 7. Let's just clear that stage. Okay, so now I've got 7 petals happening. So if I want to change that number of petals, I can go to 9. Let's clear this off. And it's drawing 9 petals. So it is a bit of an easier way to tell you how many petals to draw. However, maybe we want it different every single time. So I can also go to the operator and have it pick random for me. So let's say I want to have between 5 petals and 10 petals. So there I have 5, there I have a few more. So it's randomly going to change the number of petals that we have. Alright, so let's clear off our stage. Now it's still all the same colors, so let's go back and edit our draw flower again. Go into the options. This time let's add another number input, and we're going to add in petal color. And actually I'm going to add in one more. Let's add in another number input. This time we're going to add in the center color as well. Okay. So you've got all 3 of these option variables up here now. So what we're going to have to do is go into our looks. And we want to set the color effect. So this one here, I'm going to drag that here. to the petal color. So just drag that one down into there. And we also want to set the color effect to this one, the center color, which we'll do at the bottom as well. Just going to move these out of the way. So let's just try running that again. Okay, so nothing has happened yet. Oh, because once again, I have not changed my values. So I've still got it randomly drawing the number of petals. I also want to randomly have petal colors, and I want to randomly change the center color. So let's get some more pick randoms into these values here. Okay, so we're going to go from our petal color, let's do minus 100 to 100. You can already see it trying to change on me down there because I haven't hit stop. And I also want to change the center color, so we'll go minus 100 to 100. That is the maximum color range that Scratch has. Okay. And now let's see what happens when we start drawing some of these. So I'm getting random petals, random center colors, so it's much prettier. All right, now they're all the same size, and flowers normally grow on stems, so let's add in that as well. So what we want to do is, again, we're going to go to our more blocks. Make sure I've stopped there. And this time we're going to make a new block, and this time we're going to call it Draw the Stalk, or Draw Stalk. And we can click OK. Now, to this one, much like the petals, we want to have varying the length and thicknesses of the stalk. So let's just go ahead and edit that right away. And we're going to add in 2 number inputs. Okay, in the first one, we're going to have it change in length. And in the second one, we'll have it change in thickness. All right, now we're just going to add some code to create our subprogram here. So go into your pen, and we're going to set the pen size to our thickness. So just drag that from the top. And let's also set the pen color. Okay, so again, if you want to change the color, as we learned in the previous tutorial, click on the box and then just click on something that's got the same color you're looking for. So if I wanted a lighter green, I could click down there. I'm going to go with this dark green that's here. And then we need to put the pen down. We've got the thickness, we've got the color. We put the pen down to start drawing. And now we're going to we need a movement. So we're going to change our Y by the length. So drag that length into that value there, and then we'll lift the pen up. So back into pen, and pen up. Now we need to add the draw stalk block to the main script. So what we're going to do is when we look at our main script down here, we're going to go to our more blocks and drag this draw stalk in here as well. Okay, so we can set the length of the stalk to 100 and the thickness to 5, and let's try running that again. So now I've got stalks added into my flowers to create this nice little garden. So we can make a whole different meadow of flowers. Now, let's add some finishing touches. Let's add a background to this. So you can choose, go to the stage, and you can choose if you want to use the paint and draw your own background, or just simply go to the editor and choose one from the library. So there's not much from the library to choose from to match, so we'll just stick with this one here. If you want to draw your own, that's fine. Alright, so you can clear off your stage, hit the flag. I don't necessarily want it drawing right up the top there. So that's a bit of a glitch. Okay. One thing I guess before we continue is you may want to have different petal sizes. This is just going by the ball that we started with. So if you wanted to, you could go into adding a new petal by painting your own. So if you click in, if you go to costumes, you may you can modify this as well. So you could, just to show you, perhaps we want to make it more oval. So you can see it makes it quite different because it's also changing my center to be the same style. So that's not the greatest option. I'm just going to undo that and go back to that one. So let's just clear that off. All right, so let's see. We could have different sizes to our flowers, perhaps. Let's go back into our script. Now we've got number of petals, petal color, center color. Let's also add in, let's edit that and add in a fourth one. This one, let's add some scale to it. Just going to stop that from running in the background. So this time, let's go into our looks, and we're going to choose the set size, put that up top, and let's have it scale. Now we're also going to have to add in a variable in here as well. So go into the operators and choose this equal sign and replace that number that's in there. So we're going to go from 0.25 and then drag the scale in there. Okay, we've stamped. Now we also need the same variable or operator in here. This time negative 0.25 to scale. Remember that moves it a position and then gets it back to where it started from. So we can also work with the stalk length as well. So down in our draw stalk here, we can change this up a little bit. Let's drag in another operator. I'm going to use two different sets here. So the first one I'm going to put in is going to be 240 minus our Y position. Oh, sorry, that would be here in motions. And we're going to divide that by 3. So what I need to do, I need another operator. And I want this one essentially in here. So actually go back, put that Y position back in the first one here and divide that by 3. And we're going to do the same idea in the next one. So let's go back to our operators. We're going to need a subtraction, and I'm also going to need a division. So I'm just going to put it right in right away. So in the first one, we're going to have 240 again. We want that Y position again. I just lost my... Oh. All right, try that again. I want it in that one. Okay, and this time we're going to divide it by 50. So this way the stalk width will varies from around 1 to 8. Now underneath we've got all of our randoms, but we're going to add in, let's just see here, oops, got those extra ones I dragged out. In this final one, which we added for scale, we're going to do the same thing we essentially just did. Put in that subtraction one again with a division. So starting with 240 minus that Y position. Oh, wrong one. And this time dividing by 2. So the flower size is 30 at the top of the stage and 210 at the bottom. So that means the flowers will be larger closer up and smaller further away to make it look more landscape. The things that are close to you will appear larger. Okay, this will give it that sort of 3D effect as well. So let's clear the stage and try that again. Okay, so I've missed something along the line. Okay, so I think I see the problem. I've inserted the division in the second period, so it's actually taking the Y division, dividing it by 3, when I want these ones to be, I want this to happen first. So I want the subtraction to happen first before that gets divided. So it comes down to, I guess, math's order of operations. But let's put the division in first, then the subtraction in that first group. All right, so let's go 240 minus the Y position. So that's happening together. Then I'm going to divide all that by 3. Okay, so let's fix this one too. Let's take that stuff out. Put the division block in first, then the subtraction in the first group, so that I can do 240 minus the Y, then divide it all by 50. See if that fixes our problem. Okay, well, now I'm not seeing the stalk at all. Oh, maybe I need to change this one too. Yes, alright, let's try that one. Division block first. Put that into that first group. 240 minus Y. And now let's reset. There we go, yay, trial and error, things are happening. So now I'm getting different size flowers. The closer down on the stage, the larger they are. If I put them further back on the stage, then they're smaller, so I get some sort of depth perception. Alright, sorry for the confusion there. Hopefully you've managed to follow along and find that error, but sometimes in making errors, we also learn a little bit along the way, such as what one should already know, order of operations. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Bye.